I'm just messing with y'all. Are we 5 by 5? What's going on? Of course, if it's going to backfire on me if you can't hear me or see me. That'd be hilarious on this end. Forgive the bedhead. Not that I have much to worry about there, but it's late for me. 7 o'clock is getting up there. We getting near my bedtime because I'm getting old, son. Um, who all is in the house here? We're going to talk about the border here shortly. That's why I dropped that in here. I don't want to miss anybody though. Oh, good lord. Um, Start from the top here. Bama Gin, Coffee First, then Speak, A Troop, Heathen. How you doing? The Prepping Artist, JDP, Katrinka LOL, Chaos Prepper, GMA Nana. I already said Heathen. Good Lord, it's late. Dome Seeker. La 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 la. I seen Dynamite in here. I think he snuck in right at. What's going on, Dynamite? How are you? Black Cat Whirly Gig. Uh Ah, all right, Neil to no one. How are you doing? So not here. Black Cat Whirligig says, Steel Rain. How you doing? Finally making a live chat for the 90-mile commute home. I hope you're not walking, son. I hope you're driving. How's everybody doing? It's been a crazy day. Sometimes it happens, and when that happens, we have to do these in the evenings. Of course, it's going to replay over on the bunker. Boom, y'all. What's going on, Chad? How are you doing, brother? Um, so I got to let y'all know about a little collecting story real fast, and then we'll get to the border, okay? Because what's his name? Matt Gaetz put out close the border or close the government. He put that statement out just a little while ago on social media and was posting videos and stuff from the border, and it's ridiculous. But we know this, right? So Best Buy has started now officially removing physical media from their stores, and of course, just started driving. Be careful, Steel Rain. And of course, I go to bed early now because my wife makes me and she tells me, it's good for you. You'll get more rest. And what ends up happening is she goes to sleep within 5 minutes and I'm up for 4 hours on my phone, doing this, doing this. So last night I was on eBay and I'm like, it'd be really cool. Was my thought process last night. It'd be really cool to start collecting VHS tapes. I don't even have VCR here in the living room, but that would be really cool. They're cheaper. We've talked about this a little bit, but that would be cheaper than Laserdisc, which are ridiculous right now. So I mentioned it to my wife this morning because she's the sensible one. She normally talks me out of bad decisions and things that I'm Googling at, 11 o'clock at night, 12 o'clock at night, right? And she encouraged it. She's like, "That would be pretty neat to get a VCR in here. They're low cost. You can pick these things up for a little bit of nothing. Maybe try and collect them with the boxes and things." So it looks like that's what I'm going to be doing next. Every time I get a couple of quarters, I'm going to be on the hunt for VHS tapes. Can y'all believe it? And I'm going to start probably with Beastmaster because that one's been galling me, son, and Porky's. Y'all remember Porky's? I even mentioned Porky's today. I figured that'd be a deal breaker. And she's like, no, that'd be hilarious. So anyway, let's get to more serious stuff now. Besides John's little bedtime stories here. The border. I say exactly, Dynamite. Yes to both. Why not? Let's go ahead and get it all with one stroke. Shut it all down. Shut the FBI down, the IRS down. None of them are doing anything anyway, except harassing good people and letting these people in. Um, Saw the videos though. If you go to what is it now, X, and just type in Matt Gaetz, he's trending over there right now. But if you type it in and you go to his official account, he has tweeted and retweeted several videos from the border. The Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, has done the same thing. They're like, we need to put an end to this now. Of course, Democrats are raging against that, saying, you voted down a bill to secure the border, but they always forget the part where it had so many billions of dollars attached for Ukraine. You know what I'm saying? Ukraine's not our problem. So I'm good with them voting it down on that. They're two separate issues. Rider bills get on my nerves. They're two separate issues. Let's fix the border and then let's look at Ukraine and see if we have the money. So I'm with the House Speaker on this, but the fringe right in Congress now, they're basically saying just shut it all down. If you're not going to secure the border, if you're going to allow this to happen, just go ahead and shut the government down. We don't need you at this point. And I don't think they would get paid if it's shut down. I'm not quite sure how that works, but they're floating the idea. You know what I'm saying? My wife is proud of me for not buying a boomstick this year. That's awesome. I guess it's awesome for her. um, yeah, and that's one of the huge problems with this country, a troop. Because it really wasn't the way everything is structured. It wasn't intended to be that way. When our government was set up, and I get it is a long time ago that we set the government up, right? But they did not have lobbying, and they did not have rider bills and pork and we don't have any pork to put in it anymore. You know what I mean? We haven't for a long time. So it just seems like if they could just focus on one thing at a time, they're not going to because they're liars and thieves. But in an alternate universe where they're actually working for the American people, focus on one thing at a time. And when people on either side, because conservatives do it too, they try and stuff pet projects and funding in. No, one thing at a time, or we're voting against it. And yeah, I don't like politics for this reason. You know, they both sides know what they're doing. You know what I mean? Democrats voted for it in massive numbers. Yeah, let's secure the border, knowing that funding was going to be in there. Then they go back and they gaslight their voters and they make it seem like the only thing that was voted on or the only thing that was going to be funded was border security. And now that conservatives are posting and complaining, Democrats are posting screenshots over on X of the official vote count that happened, in the House. And I'm sitting here like I responded to one person and said, what about all of the money that was heading to Ukraine? There was a lot more going to Ukraine than our border. This is probably why people voted against it. You know what I'm saying? It's one side always trying to get the other side and always trying to best the other side. And as they do this tug of war deal, we all lose. The American citizens, especially if you're in a border state, you're losing. Um, yes, what was it, like 50 cents or something? Um, if I break down and order a VCR, it's gonna have a remote, it's gonna be a brand name, and I'm gonna get one of those rewinding deals where you just put the tape in, it's like 30 seconds. Um, yeah, I think it would be neat. You know what I'm saying? And as we've talked about before, there are a lot of movies that hit during the VHS era that haven't made their way to Blu-ray and beyond or digital. A lot of the stuff you can't stream. You know, not really classic movies, but yeah, but kind of the campy, off the beaten path movies and stuff. I like those too, you know. Um as soon as Trump is president, he needs to push hard for line item veto. Yeah, I mean, as a president, he can do certain things. He has the power of executive order to a degree. Biden could be doing certain things right now without Congress to tighten up the border. But of course, again, he's not going to do that. He wants these people here, lets them in, pretends like, the fake outrage. Oh my God, we do have a problem. What's going on? What do we do about it? Trump, I think, would get into office if they ever allow it. I don't know that that would happen, but he would do something immediately to stop it, maybe not completely. He's not gonna be able to stop it completely long term. Um, Now as far as deporting people, I'm actually not sure how that works. I would think that he would need some kind of, congressional approval for that. They're gonna call him a dictator either way. But I'm not sure if he can do that by executive order or not, or if he can classify it as an actual legal invasion and deport them that way. So I'm not sure on that, to be honest with you. There are really, really good B movies, late 70s, 80s, maybe the early 90s that have just gotten lost in the shuffle somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Um, I have 2 VHS tapes and no VCR. They're Monty Python and the Holy Grail, Full Metal Jacket, that's a banger of a movie. Monty Python, I never really got into it. I like Faulty Towers, though. I really like what is it, John Cleese? I like him in Faulty Towers. That TV show is freaking hilarious. Um, I have several Disney VHS tapes when my kids were little. People are chasing those things now. They come in the big, I guess, the white clamshells, the pre-woke Disney era and stuff like that. Maybe that's why they're chasing them. I don't know. I'm sure you do. I'm sure you do. Uh, legal, legality, well, that's subjective. Yeah, I have some ideas of my own too, but unfortunately, we're not sitting in the White House, right? Um, the funny thing is, on the one of the routes I take, that sign is still up, faded, but there. Uh, um, and getting back to Trump for a second, dude's not perfect. He came in, he said Mexico was going to pay for the wall. The wall is never finished. Mexico never paid for it. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, he did strong arm Mexico into stopping a lot of it. Stopping and turning those people around before they got to the border. I do remember that happening too. And that was because Trump was threatening them, I think, with trade. You're not going to send your crap up here and sell it anymore. And basically, your economy's going into Great Depression mode unless you stop this. So, the commander in chief does have ways of doing things and getting things done. But I mean, look at our commander in chief. Are you kidding me right now? Well, y'all's commander in chief. I ain't claiming him. Waters Family Homestead, thank you very much for being here. It's okay. It's okay. This is a late stream anyway. um, yeah, it's subjective. There you go. Yeah, it just again, the law can be interpreted in different ways. And I know this because the court systems continue to interpret it and talk out of both sides of their mouth depending on the political party. Seems like. Um, Let me see here. Digging way back up here. So a lot of people, when I posed the question earlier, a lot of people, I guess, are saying, shut both of them down. You're okay with the government being shut down too. Bear Trap, how are you doing? Thank you for being here. Yeah, occasionally. Oh man, is that Festus in that thumbnail? I love that. Occasionally they're going to be in the evenings because life life gets in the way, right? But thank you for being here. Yes, and yes to both. Like, I guess my main question is, if we defund the government, what would we actually lose? Like, I know some things would hurt. I want our soldiers to get paid. That's the one thing that I can't really justify shutting the government down for. I don't want our servicemen and women not to get paid. I don't want VA hospitals and things to be affected any more than they are. Um, That's okay, Chaos Prepper. Thank you for listening in. But at the same time, like doing the same thing over and over and over and over and expecting it to work eventually is just stupidity, and this is what our government does. It's just stupid. W- We got involved with Israel, which if I'm being honest, I'm not saying I do or don't support Israel, but Israel can handle their own. They're a military superpower in that region. They really didn't need us over there meddling in the first place. Um, I understand sending them armaments and stuff like this, but we had probably a decade's worth of stuff stockpiled over there that we could have greenlit and just released to them. But because we're over there and we got involved, now the shipping lanes and things are under attack, and now it's escalated. It's like, why? Why did we escalate things? It just makes zero sense to me. We should have kept our butts here at home, focused on our own country. Again, what a concept, right? It's the Black Cat Whirligig. It's the same result over and over and over. We just passed now, what is it, $34 trillion in debt. you'll see the White House on social media, and Joe Biden mumbles about it sometimes, how he got rid of X amount of debt. "Oh, I've slashed this much off the federal deficit." Why is it still going up then, son? Why are we gaining national debt under you? And it's not just him, it's every president before him, basically. But the past 3 or 4 or 5 have amassed huge amounts of debt. And it's like, you're not slashing debt. You're getting us involved into 20-year wars that have nothing to do with us when you get right down to it. Um, I mean, possibly, you're probably right on that. Maybe to speed up World War III. The naive part of me would like to think that our government doesn't want that, but it also makes a lot of sense, Dynamite, because again, what booms the economy when the economy is on its way down nosediving? War. You know what I'm saying? Of course, you know that already. Prepper Truck, in my opinion, shut it all down strategically because if the wrong order is done, more chaos than we as a nation can handle. But I'd be okay with both ways because either way, it's going to be shut down. That's an excellent point. At some point, we're going to run aground anyway, and we're going to have to shut it down. Whether it starts back up or not, it's up for debate. If the United States just runs out of money, runs aground, federal government can't function anymore, we have two options, right? They can go in, they can streamline it, they can start caring about the country, stop the useless spending, or they can just be stubborn and let the wheels fall off and the paint rust down and everything. Um, it's also good for that. It is also good for that. And war is bad enough, and we talk about the draft and we talk about the meat grinder, but as you already know, I'm sure world war leads to massive civilian death on the back end. And yeah, this would get rid of a lot of the population, unfortunately. Um, I don't Me personally, I don't think the world population's a problem. I'm not like a weefer. I think the billionaires that control 90, what is it, 98, 99% of the world's wealth, they're the issue, but it's not like they're going to just start spreading the wealth around. They're going to continue to rob the middle class. They're going to continue to try and control the population and stuff like this. And stupid is expensive. It is. And you gotta laugh to stop from crying because it's expensive and we're on the hook to pay for it. Our kids, our grandkids, they're on the hook to pay for it one day. You know, we're not paying for what's happening in Israel. And as much as I complain about Ukraine, we're not paying for that with our tax money. We're paying for probably at this point, I'm just spitballing, probably the war in Afghanistan, the war in Iraq, maybe. That's what we're paying for. Our grandkids are going to be paying for the stuff taking place in Ukraine, the money that we're dumping into the Middle East once again. You know what I mean? It's so maddening to see Joe Biden come in, pull our troops out of Afghanistan with no plan in the 11th hour. You can tell how unorganized that entire thing was. Our soldiers had to run, on planes, but run to get out of there like an hour before the enemies got there. And he did this to score political points to say, I got us out of the Middle East. I did what Trump couldn't do. Well, now he's got us right back into the Middle East. You know what I mean? What's the sense in pulling us out of a 20-year war and dropping us back into a 2,000-year war? It just makes no sense. Um, Thank you, Kelly, Rambo, whichever one it is, might be both of you. Thank you very much for the support. Waters family, they don't care if the government is shut down. They make their millions from our enemies anyway. Sucks. Sucks. And that's a great way of putting it, Sergeant Mike. Serfs, because that's what we are. I mean, things have changed. Okay. We're not in the Middle Ages anymore. We got the internet and all this fancy technology, but really, this societal system, we're still in the Middle Ages. You know what I mean? They still control the land. They still we work or we starve, basically. And so we have to tend to the land. We have to I mean, it's crazy. We're serfs, to your point. But getting all of the serfs together, getting them on the same page, or a majority of them, waking everybody up and saying, "Hey, this is what's going on," especially in 2024 when most people are distracted with digital stuff. I don't want to say it's impossible, but it's nearly impossible. Because when you try by using digital stuff, boom, they throw you in the corner. They give you a dumb dumb sucker and make you sit in a corner and face the wall. You can't talk to nobody. It's crazy. Um, yeah, we may still be paying for Vietnam. I don't know. I don't know that they know at this point. Yeah. ABC Patriot, how you doing? Trump made NATO ante up more money for defense, and they should. Honestly, we should just pull out of all those. I would love to see. I don't care who the president is. Hopefully, it's Trump, right? I want to see a president go in and just start pulling us out of NATO, pulling us out of the UN, pulling us out of the WEF, and saying we're going to focus on the United States of America. They probably wouldn't be around long, uh, right, Chad? The old JFK deal. They would probably not want that individual around very long, but it's the best thing that can happen for our country is to get us. Globalism doesn't work. That's my opinion. That's not a statement. If they put some kind of context down below, well, globalism does work. And, according to Wikipedia, it doesn't work. We saw this during the pandemic. The minute one of the cogs breaks down, everybody suffers because it's too interconnected. This is why I prefer nationalism, focus on country first. This doesn't mean that I hate Mexico or Canada or Finland or Italy or France, but it's like to each their own. I don't want Canada's help. I don't want Mexico's help. I believe we should help ourselves first, take care of our own people first, starting with veterans. Then, if you have a surplus of money, which we probably haven't had in this country since 10 years after it was founded, then you can help other countries in need. But if you don't have the surplus, it's just stupid. When you break it down on a very small level, would you do that at home? If you can't pay your own bills, would you clear out your bank account every month, what little bit you do have, go neighborhoods away and just randomly pay for people's stuff? No, not when your kids are going hungry, not when they're sitting in the dark. You're going to pay for your own stuff first. And it's maddening because, yeah, Wikipedia or Wikipedia, I'm sorry, Bama Jen, it's just crazy. But they continue to do it because, again, this is the definition of stupidity. um, Over and over and over and over and over. It's like they never learn. And if they're never going to learn, shut it down because the government is doing us more damage going into this direction than they're actually helping the American people. I'm not saying do anything illegal. I'm just saying, look, if you're not going to work for us, just shut it down. This, any other job out there. You know what I'm saying? If they're incompetent, they shut down. Our government needs to shut down until they figure it out. Let them go unpaid for 3 months, sit in rooms, decide, okay, we're tired of not getting paid. Let's come together and figure something out here. Why isn't this working? Um, Insanity. It is dumb sick. It really is. Um, Come on, Bama. Come on. I can't believe you. Wikipedia. I mean, you're right. My daughter even calls me out on it because I say, sometimes I say Wikipedia or something. Yeah, cogs are made to break down, keeps the machine from failing completely. And I get what you're saying, Black Cat, but at the same time, like during the pandemic, everybody's in theory locked down, right? Working from home. Oh my God, we're running out of this. Oh my God, we're running out of imports. People aren't importing, they're not exporting. Food shortage, all this crazy stuff going on. And it's because we're too dependent on other countries for everything. If China locked down today, I'm not saying there's something new on the horizon, but biological. But if there were, and China shut down today and they said, hey, we can't run our factories anymore. We're not going to be able to make your medication, United States, and import it to you for the next 12 months. We're toast. The United States is toast. We're in Mad Max at that point because so many people are medicated in this country. We're paying more for food right now because again, the breadbasket's at war. We're heavily dependent on Ukraine and Russia for imports. And by getting involved over there, now we're paying more for food. Eventually, we're going to be paying more for oil than we're paying now because, again, we're involved in the Middle East. I mean, it's just crazy. It's crazy stuff. They need to make a documentary about it and they need to put it on VHS, son. Most of America is like Rome. Yes, great analogy. We've mentioned Rome before, but too busy watching the games and not paying attention to the empire collapsing. Even when the soldiers were not getting paid anymore, the Roman soldiers, even when they splintered off, I think, oh man, it's been a while since I had this course in college. I think, I know they splintered off into two countries at one point, but I think at one point they actually had a third emperor um, there for a short period of time. Even when that stuff was taking place, people were still focused on the entertainment. They were still focused on the social stuff that was happening around them. And they didn't start paying attention until the barbarians were inside, sacking the place. And by then it was too late. And it kind of feels like, I'm not dehumanizing anybody, but it kind of feels like the barbarians are coming across the gate at the southern border and people are just too distracted. They're distracted with Hollywood. They're distracted with, the music that's coming out. They're distracted with consumerism and they're not really focused on the important stuff. And I do worry that we're going the same route as Rome. What's going on, Red Dog? How are you doing? I wonder about this. It's a great place to close. I wonder about this. They say it is, but they're lobotomizing that list right now. They're going through, I promise you, Ginger, they're going through and they are retracting names. They're going to do whatever they can to gloss it over. It's still going to be damaging for a lot of people, I think, but certain names will not be on that list because the people are too powerful and they have too much money. Um, Hopefully, y'all will be in chat tomorrow morning when me and Backwoods go live for the podcast. There will be a poll shortly. Um, it's going to hit Patreon. It's going to hit the Coffee Club, at the Bunker, and the main channel. There will be two movies. One of the movies is Zombieland. I've got to find a movie that's up there with Zombieland. So it's a tougher choice. And then we'll drop that poll and we'll watch it this week if y'all want to and talk about it Friday. Okay. But anyway, I appreciate the support outside of YouTube. Y'all take care. God bless.